Here we are at the last question of the 12-question logical reasoning drill set number one over at lawhub.lsac.org. And as we've been talking about, the first step for any problem, even this last one, is going to be to select your highlighting tool and identify and highlight the task for the question. So starting with number 12, which one of the following most accurately describes a reasoning flaw committed by both Felicia and Matt? So we're going to highlight reasoning flaw committed by both Felicia and Matt. Now, whenever you have two speakers and you are being asked about an argument or something involving an argument, such as a flaw in an argument, you are going to have to identify and highlight the conclusion for each speaker. So we will do that now by engaging the left-hand side. So Felicia states, one of the most reliable cars ever made is the Iver X500. Mine is 10 years old and has never needed repair. We want to consider which of the two statements is a definite fact and which is an opinion to identify and highlight the conclusion. That the car is 10 years old and has never needed repair is simply a fact, so the conclusion that we need to highlight is the first statement by Felicia that one of the most reliable cars ever made is the Iver X500. Now, moving on to Matt's statements, he begins, I really don't see how you can say that. The X500 is completely unreliable. My aunt owns an X500, and that thing's in the shop every other week. So the fact that Matt's aunt owns an X500 and that car is in the shop every other week is simply a statement of fact. We have the conclusion that I don't see how you can say that the X500 is completely unreliable. So we've got a contradictory pair of conclusions. Felicia's saying this is one of the most reliable cars ever. Matt is saying this is not one of the most reliable cars ever. And you want to predict what the flaw might be for each of the speakers because this is a predictable in real life circumstance before you move to the choices. And it should be readily apparent that making a blanket statement like this is the most reliable car ever made based off of one example, or that it is completely unreliable off of one example is logically flawed. So we're looking for something in our answer choices that indicates these are not decent sample sizes. So we're going to go through our answer choices with our highlight tool selected, and beginning with choice A, drawing a general conclusion on the basis of a very limited number of particular instances. And that is exactly what we expected. On the exam, you might just move on if you're running out of time, but we're going to just highlight the reasons to eliminate to model good behavior here. So choice B says distorting the argument of one's opponent. Well, nobody attacks the argument of the opponent by distorting it, just kind of dismisses but not distorts. So we can eliminate choice B for that reason. Then choice C, attempting to establish a particular conclusion because doing so is in the reasoner's self-interest. And I certainly don't know that Matt's interested in his aunt's car being, reliable or not. So C can be eliminated for that reason. Then choice D, attacking the character. No one attacks the character of the other speaker, so we can eliminate choice D. And then mistaking a factor that causally contributes to reliability for something that is an effect of reliability. There isn't really a relationship between cause and effect here. So we can eliminate choice E, and we would select choice A at this moment. And remember that you've got these delightful little examples and hints if you need those when you're working through these practice problems. You can also change your font sizes, change your spacing, and when you're done, you'll just click submit to review everything and then engage with the explanations yourself as you see fit after completing this wonderful free resource of logical reasoning drill set 1 from lawhub.lsac.org.